Hey, and welcome back to the channel. I got a new one for you today. The newest wave of NECA's The Last Ronin figures is here, featuring the Raphael and the Karai. There's also a footbot. The footbot is delayed a little bit. It's getting out later in the month, hopefully. We'll see. But these are shipping right now, so you can grab a hold of these two. Really excited, and I'm really glad they paired these two together because it was from the first of all chapter in the Last Ronin. So it makes sense having these two together. So we'll start with the Raphael here. And you can see the great artwork on the front there, the Raphael in his really unique costume. And then on the side, you got that panel. This is number 3, so I'll show you at the end how this connects to the other panels, but you can see Raphael there in sort of the dock area in which he fought, and then all those great action shots on the back. Over here, before I get into Karai, also just a note that right now, I think it's still up for pre-order. You could get the first of all Raphael, which is actually different than this Raphael. He comes with more arrows, a little bit bloodier. It's the scene just before he's dying, essentially. This one is sort of him making his charge into it. So two different versions of the Raphael, both of them really interesting. We'll see how they fit into the mural on the side here. And then we have our Karai here, and you can see her on the front, another little action shot. And on the side paneling, of course, you could see her here with Raphael in the foreground, and then her with her little honor guards, and then you can see Splinter's foot. She's number 7 in the line, and then you could also see some action shots on the back as well. And with the boxes, of course, they had that Velcro still, and they open up to give you that window. So we take a look here. We have some more panel work on the side here, and then we have our great character. An assortment of little items here we'll be checking out in just a moment. And then same with Karai, a little bit less accessories I'm anticipating, but still great nonetheless. Yep, you can see her here as well, looking pretty sharp with her sword and with an alternative head. So why don't we crack into these guys? I'm really anxious to check them out. So why don't we start with Raphael? Okay, again, not first of all Raphael, we're going to call him Reckless Charging Raphael. So this is from the chapter where he goes charging after Karai in the foot after the failed assassination attempt on Splinter. So you can see here our character, and we're going to have an alternative head. We're going to have his, of course, his size, Raphael. His little knife that was on his belt. Fun fact, this is what ended up killing him, was his own knife that Karai reached for and grabbed during their struggle underwater and uses it to kill him, stabbing him in the neck. So that's included here as well. We have an arrow, I believe, that fits into his shell, although he had multiple arrows at one point. This one just comes with one arrow. The first of all comes with several arrows. And then he's got alternate hands here. These are just kind of flat hands. He's got gesturing hands, and then he's going to have weapon holding hands at the bottom here. And then he comes standard with the fists. So let's start by trying to get our character out here. And immediately I could tell, I mean, he just looks gorgeous. Why don't I give you a close-up of him while I'm fussing with the security straps here. And you can see that he is got that great cell shading going on, just like he did in the comic. So he really kind of pops in that aspect. Just a tremendous amount of detail, really great design to him too. I know people are questioning, like, why do these guys wearing clothes? Well, they did in this IDW version, in the Ronin verse, as it's called. It's not part of the standard IDW comic version of the Turtles. This is its own separate thing. This takes place in the Ronin verse, as it's dubbed by the creators, and continuing on in the Last Ronin 2, as well as the Lost Years. So there's a lot you could see to continue the story. But yeah, let's see if I got him out now. And yeah, he's really secured in there. It's a little bulky, and I like that about Raphael's design, that he's one of the more bulkier turtles. And this guy's a completely new mold. This isn't just like the Last Ronin reused in a different form. Oh, and I missed one. Look at that. There is a secret one holding just his left, or I guess his right arm in place, in addition to the ones holding the hands in. So there's always like one I miss in these boxes that ends up holding the character in. So once you get that one out, you work out the head, and there you go. You got your Raphael. And again, he just looks amazing. I absolutely love the look of this guy. Very bulky, very awesome looking turtle. Got this shell, got this whole belt. He's got all these clips, all these attachments on him. Looks amazing. What I really like about him is the way you can kit him out. We're gonna check that out in just a moment. I want to get his accessories here. But yeah, really great design. It's one of my favorites now in the line. Although that Leonardo looks pretty sharp too. So first and foremost, we're going to have his sai. So right here, we have nice wrapping on the handle, and we get that nice sharp sai there. And what's great about these is he has this holder in the back. So the way they do it in this one is you just kind of slide them in here. Vice the traditional way you see and put them in his belt in the front. So it's kind of a cool look where he could just reach behind and pull out his two sai there. And his other accessory is this little blade, which is kind of a throwback to all the Playmates toys versions of this, because they always had this little pizza blade, I like to call it, and this was always included with the characters. So it kind of looks like it fits, I want to say it fits in here. I don't want to struggle with it too much, but oh yeah, there we go. And just like that. And that's exactly where it was in the scene. And Karai reached down, grabbed it, and then used it to stab him. So that's really cool that they included a way to mount that on his hip. I mean, one of my criticisms of the Last Ronin figure, although it was amazing, was you couldn't put all his gear on him. It was like really hard to do. There was no holder for the grappling hook. There was no holder for the second tonfa. Like you couldn't get everything on him. He had a lot on him too. So it was kind of hard to do that to begin with on that figure. So I get that is quite a challenge. But yeah, they didn't completely cover that with him by giving him all his attachments. So we have this arrow, and I believe there's a slot for you to put it somewhere in the shell. I'll see if I can find it really quick. I thought it went in the back of the shell somewhere, but I do not see it. So I'll have to look for that in a moment. But ideally, you're supposed to stick these in him, and I know the other version of him has multiple arrows as well, and I'm kind of curious how that works. But yeah, I don't see it in the picture, but I will figure it out in between takes here. But what I do want to try is, before we check out the articulation, is getting some weapon-holding hands in here so we can get his sai in those hands. NECA has these really tough hands on these characters. These are really big for these turtles. I don't want to break them. I have had bad luck in the past. That's why I always recommend sort of twisting as you pull on these things, because they can snap if you just want to pull them straight out. I've done that with the movie line of turtles. It's very upsetting because those turtles are very expensive. And if you break a hand, you kind of lose the whole utility of the turtle. So yeah, there we go. So we have his weapon holding hands, and these sai are a little bit thinner in the base than we're used to seeing on the sai, so they should slide right in, and they do. So that's great, appreciate. We don't have to struggle with opening the hands up in order to get the sai in there. So he has his sai, he's ready to go, ready to fight, looking pretty sharp there. And like I said, he has other hands, so he has his open hand, gesture hands. Let's see if I can show you a sample of those. I need like tiny hands sometimes just to grab these things. So he's got these open claw hands. They can't hold anything, but they're in there if you wanted to do some gesturing. And then he's got another open hand, which is just flat hand. So that's there as well. And then he has this alternative head. So I kind of like his alternate head more because I think it speaks more to the scene. And it is really wedged in here. But the alternate head is sort of like the screaming Raphael head. And I'll see if I can get this one out. It is definitely wedged into this box. There we go. It's more of a screaming head there, and I think it's more appropriate for the scene and him and his fight with Karai. So yeah, and we'll do a quick test on the head. So the head, the best way I find is to twist and twist and pull steadily as you twist it. Sometimes these are near impossible to get on, and I've shown you that with the Sinja figure. What I did with that in between takes is I used a hairdryer to heat it up. This one popped on a lot easier. You heat it up a little bit, the hole inside, and then it will just slide onto the peg. And then it will cool down and relatch. So this one slid on pretty easy, and I got that head on there. I really like that head. So that is basically all of Raphael, and I will try to figure out where the arrow goes between the switch over here and the scene, so I could show you that arrow really quick before I show you Karai. But right now, I want to check out that articulation. So we have that wrist, we have that double elbow right here, and that's hidden by his sort of elbow pad there, so you can't really see that double elbow. He's got a nice big shoulder joint here, so he could actually, look, he could articulate on the bicep, before the bicep here. So that's really nice. And then he's got that shoulder, ball joint shoulder here. And he's sort of like moving around inside this turtle, or a shell, which I think is really cool. So he's kind of loose in there. So like a turtle, I guess, would be the top part of the shell. So he's got the head and the ball joint. He's got a little bit of movement inside his turtle shell there. You know, he can't really bend as much, but the way the shell is sitting on him is like its own piece instead of attached to the body, which I really like that. It gives him a lot more movement. And then he has his legs here. He could turn every which way, and the knees could turn odd directions too. But he also has that double jointed knee, and that's hidden behind his knee armor. And then he has that ankle joint as well, and move those feet around. But yeah, I mean, a lot of articulation on this guy, a lot of freestanding armor pads here that aren't just molded onto him, which is really cool because it gives a lot of depth to this figure, makes him look a little bit more realistic than like a toy. And they did a really great job. You can see those contour lines on him here that really bring out that comic look. So really sharp job on this figure. Really like him so far. Yeah, he's my favorite of the line so far, and there's definitely more coming. But nice, fun, bulky line. Can't wait to see what the First of All Raphael looks like compared to this one. We saw some promo photos of it, but to get it in hand and be able to check it out is definitely going to be fun. So, all right, so that is our Raphael. I'm going to grab Karai, but before I do that, I'm going to try to figure out where this arrow goes. I'm not going to waste your time making me make you guys watch me figure it out, so I'm just going to cut right to that. All right, before we hop over to Karai, I just want to show you guys a couple things I noticed in the figure that I didn't point out. Those gesturing hands are really for the way Raphael does these alternate holds of his sai. So they're not the only weapon holding hands. There's two sets of weapon holding hands essentially. And the arrow, there is no specific hole or slot to put it in. Basically, you're just going to look for a way to catch it in one of the openings he has here on the side of the shell to make it look like it's stuck in there. But there's no definitive way to put it in there. So you could really put it in any way you want. Just there's a ton of gaps on this guy, like I pointed out. They have that shell is sort of resting in there independently. So you could definitely just stick it anywhere that looks cool for whatever scene you're trying to set up. So that is all for Raphael. So let's check out Karai now. So here we go in her package. And again, I'm just going to open this from the top. I find this is the easiest way to do this. And then slide her right out of there. So she's going to have a little bit less complex than Raphael there. Of course, she's going to have her assortment of hands. We have fists. We're going to have sort of weapon holding hands here for her sword. And we're going to have an alternative head as well as her sword. Now, fun little fact about Karai. And you can notice it from the package here. She only has one sword, but in the comic she has two. So she starts out her battle scene with Raphael with the two swords. And they decided not to include those for whatever reason with the action figure version. But they packaged her with that little pizza knife. And that pizza knife was Raphael. She pulled it off of Raphael to use in the scene. So it did not come with her by default, but it does come with her figure. But she did use it to deliver the death blow against Raphael. So yeah, it's kind of a weird inclusion or omission at the same time to only give her one sword and to give her Raphael's weapon. But for whatever reason, that's what they went with here. You can see that was the box art in the package. So let's check out Karai really quick. And she has basically everything in there. Like that face is a great likeness for her comic look, like ridiculous. She has all those little black contour lines on there to make the art style really pop. So that's really fun how they captured that look in there. Great detailing there on the hair in the back too. So it's our first human character in the line, so expecting a lot out of this. Yeah, I mean, really like how this came out overall. She's got this great alternative face where she's the yelling sort of attack face as well. We're going to check out these accessories, and of course she has her sword. And that's pretty nice with that little strip in the back there. And then she has a holster, sort of wearable, I don't want to say bandolier, I forget what these are called, but these wearable sheaths for the sword here. I don't remember seeing one in the scene in the comic, but it comes with one. And then of course she has that little pizza wedge. I'm not going to take it out because I already showed you guys what it looks like. But let's get her hands changed from these gesturing hands to her weapon holding hands, because she is going to need to hold her sword if she's going to have any chance of hope against Raphael here. And again, these hands are even more fragile than the standard hands because they are tiny, smaller wrist. So I'm even more concerned about breaking something here. So we're just going to work these in there. All right. And then I'm going to try to get this sword into her hand. So I'm going to assume you'll want to get this in from the bottom. So with this one, I usually like to wedge the hand open just to get the sword in and then let the hand close around it. And then that does fit in there. So pretty nice. Some things I see here is the scarf looks like it's its own little separate piece here. The bandana's got, or the headband's got a little bandana on the back there. A lot of articulation on this one. You get the shoulders, upper biceps move, the double elbow, it's hidden into her outfit here. The wrist movement as well. She got a lot of ab articulation. She can move. She doesn't have a shell, so she can definitely move side to side, back and forth, and 2 different points too in the abs. So that's interesting there. She's got that full like ball hip there that she can move. No upper thigh articulation, but good range of motion nonetheless. And then she's got that double knee on each side as well. And then the ankle. So a lot of articulation in Karai as well. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to this figure. The scene was brief, and it was just her battling with her 2 swords. You only get 1 sword, but she lost one pretty quick into the fight, so it not necessarily mattered there. Let's try switching out those heads and see if this is as smooth as the Raphael head. I really hope it is, because that was a really easy head to do. This one is not as smooth, so I might have to play around with this, because it's really hard because of the hair. Like, there's no good way to grip this without me feeling like I'm going to damage this figure. With the turtle, it was just one round piece. This one is like got the scarf moving with it. It's got the head moving with it. I mean, again, that is a really nice design on that head. And it's just the hair makes it very difficult to take this off. There we go. I got it. Sort of a pull on the front end here. Kind of keep the headband on there. We're going to try to sneak this other head in place. And again, just working it back and forth until I get a nice pop and I can feel that sort of click into place. And I think I got it. Oh, no, I did not. This one might be like the Sinja, where I might need to heat it up a little bit to get that click in place there. But in the meantime, you can see that different look on there with that new screaming face, and it definitely helps make this scene here against Raphael. She has this other hand that comes with it that looks like a weapon holding hand as well, but it's a little bit bigger spaced, and I'll see if I can wedge it out with the sword here. Yep, here we go. This one has sort of a hole in the middle of it, and I think this one is, I want to call it the death blow hand. So she used this one to hold that little pizza wedge thing there, and then attack Raphael with it. So yeah, it is appropriate that it's her right hand, because it was her right hand at that point in the fight. So it's kind of cool that they included this piece. So then you could definitely do your full scene with her stabbing Raphael. Probably pairs better with the first to fall Raphael, because he's all bloody and ready for that ending battle scene. But that is essentially your Karai. Comes with 1 sword and Raphael's blade. So hopefully you bought it with Raphael and you would have got Raphael's blade anyway. But you got that, you got the sword. It would have been nice to get a second sword instead of the sheath here for the sword, because I don't really think she had this on her in the fight. Maybe she did, and I just wasn't paying attention. And I can check that out in a second. But this would basically just go over her. Let's see if I get the head off again. Yep. It's a lot easier now after you get the head on and off the first time. But this would just basically go over her body here this way. Whoop. You're kind of going to want to latch it around. Easier to do this without the head on, obviously. I don't think you can do it with the head on. And then you're going to put the head back on here, and then you have the figure complete. So that is essentially how you would display her with all her equipment. So that is Karai, and that is both of the figures that I can show you now, because the Footbot is not out, but this is a good match up in this wave here between these two. So that is your look at the most of Wave 2. And that is the latest wave. Awesome. Absolutely love it. Still waiting for that Footbot, but Raphael is going to win. I'm convinced this is the best figure in the wave. They give you alternate ways of holding the side. They give you 2 different heads. They give you this arrow, throwing for fun. Karai has the alternative heads, and then she has that ability to hold that pizza knife. Wish they would have gave her a second katana. That just would have been more accurate to the character. Double checking the comics, she does have this strap on. It does get cut off right before she dives into, or gets pushed into the dock, rather. But she loses her bandolier as the strap gets severed. And there was, oddly enough, another katana, at least in the cell, in the panel of the artwork there. So she had like 3, I guess, 2 in her hands and an extra one. Anyway, yeah, really cool figures. Absolutely love this. Looking forward to that footbot to sort of round this wave out. I did promise I give you guys an update where we are with the panel artwork, so why don't we check that out? So originally we showed you guys number 1 here, which was the Last Ronin, and then number 2, which was the Last Ronin Unarmored. Now we have number 3 with that Raphael right there. Number 4 is going to be Leo, not until March, so we're going to be waiting on that. Number 5 is going to be Donnie. We have no idea when we're getting Donnie. There's been no pre-order announcements yet listed for that. Number 6 is that Sinja Patrol Bot, so he's all the way over here. I'm going to slide him down. And then number 7 is Karai. So you could see her fitting in here with Splinter's foot on there. We know Splinter is number 8. We have seen the packaging before. He will be sitting over here. We also have a Sinja Elite bot, don't know what number that is. We also have Casey Jones, don't know what number that is. We have Michelangelo, don't know what number that is. We've seen Fugitoid, don't know what number that is. So a lot on there. And the Footbot, we have no idea what number that is either, because we have not seen the side panel. It hasn't been shown yet. I'm assuming it's going to be 9, but we'll see. I don't know. They might surprise us. I mean, Donnie is 5, and we might not get him until next summer or fall at this rate. So it's kind of odd the way this is set out. We also have another Raphael that was shown off and is up for pre-order right now. First of all, Raphael, completely different artwork on the front. Don't know what the artwork on the side is going to be. It might be like the Armored Last Ronin, where we get a black and white and then a red version. Didn't change anything here. So that might be the same there. It might just be an additional variant of that. But that's where we are with the packaging here. Looking pretty sharp. Love these figures. Again, look really great. Definitely worth picking up right now. $35 each. Best Buy has them in stock. Big Bad, I think, just has Karai right now. And then Entertainment Earth does not have them yet, but should be coming soon. So grab these while you can. Footbot coming out soon is going to be an army builder, that one. I wish they would sell them in like 4-packs or something, but such is life. So that is all for this time. Tomorrow we are going to have a giveaway, so tune back for that to see how that's going to work. I think we're going to do a couple weeks of giveaways based on what we just got. So tune in to see what those are. Thursday, we're going to have an update. It's going to be a little interview with Diamond Select. We're going to be going over a lot of different products, what is going to be available in 2024, what little surprises are forthcoming, and there will be a Nightmare Before Christmas Selects update. We will talk about Wave 11. We will list the figures that will be in Wave 11. Cannot show you the press assets yet. Those haven't been approved and revealed, but they will be revealed in due time, but you will get to hear what characters are in there. Tune back for that. It is a very exciting update if you're a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. So as always, like, subscribe, and follow, and we will see you guys next time.